Hello, hello, my little explorers. Are you ready to go on a fun and amazing journey through the world of nature? Today on our channel, not just a video, but a real adventure. Together, we'll discover 5 of the funniest, strangest, and silliest animals you might have never heard of. Who could they be? Maybe an animal with a huge, funny nose, or a strange fish that always looks sad, but actually just looks that way. Yes, it's going to be fun, I promise. By the way, did you know there are creatures in nature that look like cartoon characters come to life? They're silly, awkward, but totally real. Today, I'll tell you not only how they look, but also where they live, what they eat, and what funny things happen to them. And I'll also ask you fun questions and riddles. So pay close attention so you don't miss any hilarious facts. Are you ready? Then put on your biggest smile, use your imagination, and let's go. Let's dive into the top 5 funniest animals. First place, Ai, the lemur with the longest finger. Ai, isn't that a funny name? But wait until I tell you it's a lemur with one super long and skinny finger, like a magic wand. The Ai lives far, far away on the island of Madagascar, a magical island full of amazing animals. And our hero is one of them. It's a nocturnal animal. Do you know what that means? It sleeps during the day and goes hunting at night. But it doesn't hunt other animals. It looks for insects and grubs. And here comes the fun part. This lemur, like a secret agent, taps on trees with its long finger. Tap, 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 like it's playing the drums. When it hears something moving inside the tree, it pokes its finger in and pulls out a grub like a hook. The Ai looks like a forest wizard. It has big ears, shiny round eyes, and messy hair. And sometimes it spooks people because its eyes are so huge. But don't be scared. It's just a night explorer. Let's play a game. Can you guess what the Ai does with its long finger? 1. Brushes its teeth. 2. Pulls grubs out of trees. 3. Writes letters. The right answer is pulls grubs out of trees. Well done. And here's a funny fact. Scientists once thought the Ai was extinct, but then, bam! They found it again in the forests of Madagascar, alive and well. What a hide-and-seek champion! Would you like a magic finger like that to grab toys from hard-to-reach places? Haha, that would be handy. Remember, Ai, the nocturnal lemur with the longest finger in the world. Let's move on. Second place, Leafy Sea Dragon. And now, drum roll, meet the most stylish underwater creature, the Leafy Sea Dragon. Yep, you heard that right. This fish looks like a swimming dress. It's covered in long leafy fins that flutter in the water. It looks like it's ready for a carnival dressed up as seaweed. And actually, it does hide among seaweed and corals. Thanks to its leafy costume, it becomes almost invisible to predators. The Leafy Sea Dragon lives in the warm waters of Australia. Yes, the place with kangaroos and koalas, but this one is underwater. Fun fact, the Leafy Sea Dragon is a relative of the seahorse, but it looks way more fancy and silly. Sometimes it even seems to forget how to swim straight and floats like a balloon on a string. Imagine you're swimming and think, oh, it's just seaweed. But no, it's this funny fish. It can drift and bob all day long. It doesn't even have a swim bladder to stay balanced like other fish. Now guess, how does the Leafy Sea Dragon swim? 1. Like a rocket, fast and straight. 2. Slowly, swaying like a lazy seaweed ghost. 3. Like a motorboat, splashing everywhere. The correct answer is slowly, swaying like a lazy seaweed ghost. Heh. And when it flaps its fins, it looks like a carnival puppet. Funny, right? Remember? Leafy Sea Dragon, the most fashionable and lazy underwater performer. Who's next on our list? Third place, Dwarf Mongoose. In third place comes the ultimate speedster, the Dwarf Mongoose. Not just any mongoose, but the smallest and funniest one in its family. This tiny predator lives in Africa. It's about as tall as a banana and weighs as much as 2 or 3 apples. But despite its size, the mongoose is a real savanna hero. It lives in big families, sometimes even entire villages. Imagine lots of tiny, quick animals running around, digging burrows and guarding each other. One mongoose is always on lookout duty, and if it spots danger, like a hawk, it sounds the alarm, peep, 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 and everyone dashes into hiding. Mongooses love to play together, tumble and chase beetles. It looks like they're putting on a comedy show in the desert. And here's something cool. Mongooses are famous for fighting snakes and winning. They're super quick and brave. But our dwarf mongoose prefers to jump around bushes and look for yummy insects instead of fighting. Now a riddle. Who is the dwarf mongoose? 1. The smallest and funniest mongoose in Africa. 2. A giant and scary monster. 3. A fish that lives in the ocean. Of course, the smallest and funniest mongoose in Africa. Fun fact, mongooses sometimes sunbathe standing on their hind legs like little soldiers. Imagine a whole group of them standing tall, warming up in the sun. What a funny sight! Remember, dwarf mongoose, the tiny protector of the savannah and a big prankster. Fourth place, blobfish. And now, hold on to your chair. Here comes the fish that always looks like it just heard a bad joke and is stuck with a sad face. It's the blobfish. The blobfish lives deep, deep underwater. So deep there's barely any light. It lives at depths where even submarines don't always go. Do you know why it looks so sad? Because its body is kind of like jelly. Underwater, its skin looks normal, but when it gets pulled up to the surface, its face turns, well, super funny. Picture this, a big nose, droopy mouth, eyes like I'm about to cry. It's the ultimate sad face. Some even call it the saddest fish in the world. But actually, it's not sad at all. That's just how it looks. The blobfish is happy living deep in the ocean. And it doesn't have jaws or sharp teeth to hunt. It just sits and waits for snacks to float by so it can gulp them up. Imagine sitting on your couch and pizza just rolls over to you. Cool, right? That's the blobfish, a master of laziness and patience. Now a fun question. What does the blobfish do most of the time? 1. Plays tag with dolphins. 2. Sits and waits for food. 3. Jumps on corals and sings songs. Of course, sits and waits for food. Correct. And here's another fun fact. When the blobfish stays deep underwater, it looks quite normal, like a regular fish. But when it's pulled to the surface, pop! It turns into a jelly blob with a face like, I'm so done with everything. Remember, blobfish, the ocean's grumpy comedian. Let's head to our final funny friend, 5th place, Secretary Bird. And now, get ready. Our last hero is a bird that looks like a serious teacher or a secret agent. It's the Secretary Bird. The Secretary Bird has long legs, sharp feathers on its head that look like pencils behind its ear, and a serious face like it's about to say, what's going on here? It lives in Africa and struts through the savannah like it's on a mission, checking everything. The funniest thing is, the Secretary Bird chases snakes. It doesn't sit in trees like most birds. Nope. It prefers to walk on the ground like a real inspector. And when it sees a snake, it lifts its long legs and stomps on the snake like it's saying, "No mischief here." Do you know why it's called a secretary? Because of the feathers sticking out behind its head, like old-timey clerks who used to tuck pens behind their ears. Plus, it looks like it's wearing a suit, white chest, black wings, and grey feathers, like a fancy jacket. And now, our fun quiz. What does the secretary bird do? 1. Flies all day through the forest. 2. Walks on the ground and hunts snakes. 3. Works in an office on a computer. The right answer is walks on the ground and hunts snakes. But imagine it working in an office. Pretty funny too. And guess what? This bird can dance when it's happy. It jumps on its long legs and flaps its wings. It looks like a fun tap dance. Imagine a serious face and silly dance moves. Remember, Secretary Bird, the top snake hunter and the strictest inspector in the savannah. Wow, we've reached the end of our fun journey. Let's recap who we met today. 1. I, the nocturnal lemur with a magical long finger. 2. Leafy Sea Dragon, the carnival fish that pretends to be seaweed. 3. Dwarf Mongoose, the tiny hero of the savannah and a big joker. 4. Blobfish, the jelly-like grumpy face from the deep ocean. 5. Secretary Bird, the snake-stomping inspector of the savannah. Which one did you like the most? Would you want to meet any of them in real life? Or maybe you'd like to draw your favourite funny animal. And don't forget, nature is full of surprises. Even the silliest-looking animals are smart, brave, and super important for our planet. That's all for today, little explorers. If you enjoyed our adventure, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and don't miss the next journey. There are still so many funny and amazing animals waiting for us ahead. Bye-bye and see you soon on our next trip through the wonderful world of nature.